Thank you. Victoria has the following question. I'm 30 years old with no major health complaints, but I have not had any periods at all for the past 2 years. What could be the problem, and what can I do to improve the situation before I visit the Institute next spring?
Now, number one, have you radically changed your diet or lost a lot of weight? And if the answer is yes, I'll give that answer, and I'll give a no answer too, because there's probably a lot of people out there listening that would like to hear this. Number one, if you've had a lot of weight on your body and lost it, it is not uncommon for you to lose your menstruation. If you go back and look at indigenous people around the world, and I've had the ability and pleasure to go to visit some of them, they don't run around with tampons or Kotex once a month. They don't profusely bleed for 6 days and have PMS, as 60% of the women do today. What they have is little to no, odorless, quite often colorless, all but 2 months a year, gel that's excreted. Remember, menstruation is one time a month when you haven't had a baby, the human body, the woman's body, releasing the parts that may make a baby. What has happened with women living in the modern era is, thank God there are women in this case, because what happens is that the body's using that release valve to get rid of all the junk and all the garbage and all the chemicals and God knows what else out of the menstruation cycle. Now, that's number one. So normal women under healthy conditions, and I'm not suggesting that's who you are, I haven't seen you or know the case, literally are getting this. Emaciated women who have anorexia, who also have little to no weight, have the same problem. And is it a problem not to have profuse menstruation? Well, it's certainly a problem if a woman wants to have a baby at some point. It also is an indicator in most cases that the hormones are not balanced. But I know lots of extremely healthy women that have, other than the spring and autumn, where they see some blotting of blood, little to no activity, 2-3 days a month, the other 10 months. What you need to do is go to a good, experienced doctor, generally a medical doctor who's natural, who does bioidentical testing, and either do saliva testing or do blood testing or do both of them and see where your hormones are right now. And then at that point, if you send off that information, we could have our team here look at it and basically give some advice. And it may be, surprising enough, that you would take a bioidentical hormone short time to get that balance. But it may be we tell you to eat particular foods or take a particular herb. Now the other case is, let me address the other case. Emotional shock and trauma has often caused this. And we see this maybe 5 times a year here at Hippocrates, where people have literally had such a neuron shock that it has prevented the natural cycle of fraternal type of development, hormonal development in the body. And quite often that's temporary. But that's an exception versus the norm.